Tonight, the winners and losers on the high street.
In retail today, if you're not relevant to your customers, you don't stand a chance. You evolve or die.
The household names trying to weather the storm.
We're on a journey, but we're very determined to make a difference and be a very vibrant part of people's high streets.
Can local stores compete with the online giants?
What big change have you made to adapt?
Well, I've gone contactless,
Okay.
which is something I would never ever have contemplated.
And what's in it for shoppers?
Getting people to get off the sofa, put the laptops down and get into a town centre. You know, that's what we talk about when we're talking about the battle for British shoppers now.
Good evening and welcome to the Tonight programme. In the last 10 years, nearly 220,000 jobs have been lost across the retail sector as 85,000 stores have closed their doors. As a result, the traditional high street is in trouble. So is bricks and mortar retail in terminal decline? Are the tech giants of online retail to blame? And what's the likely impact on us, the shoppers? Retail expert Kate Hardcastle investigates.
Some call it the Amazon effect. The online shopping boom that seems to be laying waste to our high streets and retail centres. Household names broken and bust, others fighting to stay afloat. My name is Kate Hardcastle and I'm a retail expert. Shopkeeping runs in my family. My grandparents ran a general store in Yorkshire. These days, I give advice to businesses. From what I see, the retail environment is changing, and fast.
More than 5,000 jobs are at risk.
Marks & Spencer is set to axe up to 100 stores.
It's a worrying time for shopkeepers, big and small, and for the future of many local high streets. The fear is, if they go under, they'll be gone forever.
Our town centres and high streets play a really important function in society. Yes, they're important economically, but we've tended to focus just on that when they have other purposes. We know people like coming into town, meeting their friends, socialising, eating out. There's lots and lots of different reasons why people want to visit their towns.
Retail is one of Britain's biggest employers, but the high street is hemorrhaging shops and jobs, and more pain is predicted.
There's still multiple retailers on our high street that aren't providing what customers want, and I think we will see a few more big collapses of some of our chains.
House of Fraser is the latest to collapse, owing a reported £500 million to creditors. It's now been bought out by the controversial retailer Mike Ashley, who owns Sports Direct. But other big brands are also feeling the squeeze. Marks & Spencer's, Carpetright, New Look, Mothercare. They've all announced sweeping store closures. And Debenhams, founded more than 200 years ago, has been hit by 3 profit warnings this year alone. Its management complain that strictly online operators have an unfair advantage. I've been invited to their flagship Stevenage store to take a look around for myself.
Hello.
Kate, welcome to Debenhams.
Hi.
Lovely to see you.
And you. Thanks
Come
for
on
inviting me. Wow, that's really shiny.
Thank you. So if you think a business like ours pays £80 million a year in business rates that funds local services, local infrastructure, etc., and yet one of our online players that's only online is paying less than a fifth of that on a business that's twice the size of ours. So that definitely is unfair. We're not asking for favourable treatment, but just a level playing field.
The group hopes to turn around its fortunes before it's too late. And the prospect of attacks on the online players hinted at by the Chancellor may help level the playing field.
No worries, have a lovely time. Hi.
We see a lot of people saying, they want to come in, have a coffee, do a mooch, as they call it, then have lunch, and then do another mooch. So I suppose one of the first things you should notice is the Nando's you've just seen behind us. That's our first Nando's in the UK in the store. It's one of 4 food and drink offers in this store. That's creating a real destination. People can come and spend more time here. People who eat and drink with us spend 3 times as long with us, which, again, are all about something you can't do online.
There we have it. It seems to be about creating a different vibe to online competitors by providing more of a day out. But will it be enough? 20,000 jobs depend on Debenhams getting the mix right.
I'm worried about Debenhams. Are there more profit warnings to come? Are you even going to be here at Christmas?
We definitely will be here at Christmas, and we've got an exciting, we believe, very compelling offer for customers this Christmas. Don't get me wrong, we're on a journey, but we're very determined to make a difference and be a very vibrant part of people's high streets.
Have a lovely day.
Department stores are under a lot of pressure, not only because shoppers are spending less on clothing, but also because if they want to find everything under one roof, they go online, where you can now find millions of products right at your fingertips. But I think on the flip side, there's a fantastic opportunity for them to collaborate with other retail brands, and also thinking beyond retail, looking to restaurants, spas, gyms, and there's all kinds of really weird and wonderful experimentation happening, and I think we'll see much more of that in the future.
Let's take a look at what the high street is up against. High rents and squeezed incomes have had a part to play, but so have places like this. A state-of-the-art Amazon warehouse. They call it a fulfillment centre. Robot pallets sorting millions of orders for some of the nearly 1 in 5 retail transactions that now take place online. Britain leads Europe in online shopping, spending £60 billion a year.
When we think about the impact of Amazon on the high street, what springs to mind is this image of boarded up shops. We think of store closures, retail bankruptcies, and there's absolutely some truth to this, because as spending shifts online, naturally we don't need as many stores. But I think Amazon has also been a force for good in that they've stamped out complacency. In retail today, if you don't differentiate from your rivals, if you're not relevant to your customers, you don't stand a chance. This is retail Darwinism. You evolve or die.
Of course, Amazon is not the only purely online retailer in the UK. And anyway, we can't simply blame our addiction to online shopping for the high street's woes. Burslem is one of the 6 towns that make up Stoke-on-Trent. It has a rich history built on the pottery factories that thrived here. But the town suffered during economic downturns, and most have now gone. Burslem has gained a new unwanted title, Vacant Shop Capital of Britain. A survey found 1/3 of retail premises were empty.
It's a very old historical town. It's called the mother town of Stoke-on-Trent because lots of the pottery industry started off here.
I believe listening to the voices of community groups is integral to restoring the vitality of our high streets. That's why I wanted to go and see 74-year-old June Cartwright, who is leading a campaign to breathe new life into these tired old streets.
Why are you so passionate about it here?
This is my own town. It's a beautiful town. We've got beautiful architecture. And the best part of it all, we've got a fantastic community here.
But times are still tough. Out-of-town shopping centres and supermarkets with free parking have proved a big attraction. Adding to the malaise, all 3 of Burslem's town centre banks have closed.
I think any high street that you go to, any town now, looks exactly the same as Burslem.
Central to June's dream of renewal is a Wednesday market here in the town square, along with some free parking. But council bosses are worried about the impact on other nearby towns.
I'd like to see 2 hours free parking. People don't want to walk, do they? They want the car parking exactly where they are.
The council says it's completed a survey to see if townspeople want a Wednesday market, and it's now working through those responses. But it doesn't have the funding to provide free parking, which would need to be policed by traffic wardens. It's not just hard-pressed northern towns being hit by the winds of change. Here's prosperous Suffolk seaside resort, Southwold. Locals fought a campaign to protect what they saw as a unique identity of the high street back in 2012. They tried to keep chains out, arguing that the high street would lose its individual character. But they lost. New chains followed, and rents went up. A recent government re-evaluation of business rates hasn't helped either. Now, some local traders, once the lifeblood of every high street, say they're being priced out.
We love it. We love being part of the community. We've got a lot of customers here who really do rely on us. A lot of people who don't go out more than once a day, and they don't just come in and out, they chat, and that's all part of their daily lives. At the moment, we don't have many costs that we can make any smaller, really. I mean, it takes a lot of copies of The Sun and the Daily Mail at 65p to be able to afford rates of £11,000 a year. Really, really hope we can survive, but I can't see how.
And what of the artisan baker with a thriving cafe and 21 employees?
The rates have gone up, the rents have gone up, everything has gone up for us on the high street. We have the increases in minimum wage, we have pension contributions, cost of goods, the price of butter has gone through the roof, utility costs have increased. I don't think I can say to a customer, I'm going to charge you £8 for a sausage roll, because that's how much of an increase I'm facing on all my cost of goods. I would have loved to expand my business in Southwold. An opportunity came up to take on next door, which was an independent shoe shop. The rent they were asking was £60,000, which is just totally, not sustainable for my business. It's now gone to a chain, so that says it all, really.
The Mayor of Southwold believes matters will only get worse when a business rate subsidy enjoyed by some local shopkeepers is phased out.
In a year or so, the full rate is going to hit, and some of them, I think, will go out of business. It's progress if you want to see the same set of half a dozen national brands on every high street.
The stakes have never been higher, and critics say that some local councils aren't up to the job of helping the high street.
Unfortunately, a lot of local authorities just aren't taking any action at all. Polishing the brass on the Titanic is a phrase that's often used in town centre regeneration. Local authorities have, they've been putting up hanging baskets and Christmas lights, and they haven't really been tackling the fundamental issues that there won't be so much retail in town centres, so what are they going to do with that space?
Stockport in Greater Manchester has been battered by a string of big-name closures. BHS, M&S, Toys R Us, Maplin's, Poundworld. Their stores have all gone from the town. So what can be done about it? The council is embarking on a £1 billion facelift to change the nature of its high street. It started with this new cinema and restaurant complex.
If we don't do anything, and if we don't intervene in the town centre will likely die. If we attempt to just turn the clock back and try and attract as many retail units back into town centres as used to be the case, and the same sorts of shops as we used to have, I'm afraid we'll fail. The success of the high street depends on having a good mix of opportunities for residents. When people go out for a day now, they don't just look to shop. They look for experiences, they look for leisure, they look for eating destinations, other reasons to get them out of the house. We need to reflect that, and we need to give people what they want, because otherwise we will just lose the battle with online shopping.
Stockport is quite unusual for a local authority because it's taking action, it's taking quite brave action. It's investing money, it's buying property, it's using property that it already owns, and it's repurposing that property, selling it on to developers for other uses. At least they're doing something. I think they're doing the right thing, and they are doing it. And unfortunately, a lot of local authorities just aren't taking any action at all.
Even where councils are leading the fight back, entrepreneurs are an important part of the mix.
How's it going, Jimmy?
People like Joe Barrett, who is helping attract folk to Stockport's Old Town with a Foodie Friday venture. It's an initiative that's brought a dozen street traders together for a once-a-month festival of food and drink.
Getting people to get off the sofa, put the laptops down and get into a town centre, that's what we talk about when we're talking about the battle for British shoppers now. I see the future very much as working with those independent street food traders to deliver more than just a monthly market. Why can't we deliver a regular street food and drink market every day of the week? And that, to me, is what every town centre will have over the next 5 or 10 years.
And store closures are creating big spaces in town centres, which could translate into big opportunities. This crazy golf course is located in the former flagship BHS store just off London's main shopping attraction, Oxford Street.
I think the high street has got to be very careful that it moves with the times. Shoppers want a range of experiences now. I think the malls caught onto this very early, and lots of them have ice rinks, bowling alleys, that sort of thing. And now the traditional high street has got to play catch up in that regard, that you need a lure to bring people into the shops in the first place. People want to have a really fun day out in these city centre locations. And so, yeah, I think this is the changing face of the high street.
For all its perks, shopping online is a very utilitarian experience. It's functional. Sure, you have access to millions of products at your fingertips, and they can be magically delivered to your doorstep the next day or increasingly the same day. But there's an opportunity here for bricks and mortar retailers, for high street retailers, to focus on what Amazon can't do, which is experience, it's entertainment, it's leisure.
Mum of two, Carly Power is typical of many modern shoppers, short of time.